Okay, now this is the most important thing, and it's so easy to make this mistake, these two mistakes when writing in either first or third person, I guess, but the rules still apply. It's easier, I think, though, when you're writing in first person not to make these mistakes, and that is not to insert your point of view into description, narration, or anything. So let's say Kim, again, is the main character, and you're writing from first person or third person, doesn't matter, and she's about to meet this guy, and she meets him, and she's going to start dating him, and you, the author, know because you're writing the story, you know this character is shady, and he's going to end up cheating on her. You have to make sure you don't ever insert your opinion about him in the description, like saying that when you describe his tattoos, that he has these kind of sly tattoos, and he's a bad boy guy, you're hitting that he's going to cheat on her. You have to make sure if you're going to hint anything, you do it from her point of view. It all has to be from her point of view. And if you're writing in third person, the same rule applies. You have to stick to the point of view character. So if I'm writing in limited third person, which means I'm writing from one character point of view, but I'm writing in third person, and we're going to stick with Kim, when I'm describing everything, it has to still be from her point of view. Now, I can get objective in third person, limited third person, but I have to make sure that even if I give a objective description of something, I have to do it with information that the main character, or rather the point of view character, knows. So for example, let's say Kim is in the coffee shop, and outside the coffee shop, she's unaware that a burglary has taken place in the alleyway. I can't jump to the burglary in the alleyway that she's unaware of and start describing this burglary that's taken place, and woman gets beat on the head, man takes purse, runs in the coffee shop. Unless I'm going to write a multiple third person, which means I'm going to now switch to that character. But he needs to be a main character in the story. If he's just an off and on character, I can't do that. Then that's driving me into omniscient point of view, which means you can share information anytime about anything, including your own personal opinion on things. And I think there's a variation on the omniscient point of view. An omniscient point of view, you can do this kind of limited omniscient point of view, where it's kind of like a movie, where you're just sharing, like, imagine how a movie is filmed, and sometimes it's filmed and information shown that no character point of view knows. Only the author, in this case, in a novel, knows information. But what they don't do is share their personal thoughts. And so that's how it's really limited. They limit the omniscient point of view by it's mainly a multiple point of view narration, except for sometimes they share information that no character can know, but it's not information that the author cares about. In other words, it's not the author's point of view. The author's not pushing his views onto the reader. It's just, or talking to the reader. It's just simply something that happened, and he kind of even takes it from the point of view of one of the characters, but it's off and on character. So you can do that, I suppose, but it's not something that's done in popular fiction, so you might not get published if you try it. Nonetheless, so let's stick with what we know that publishers publish. So when writing in limited third person, you want to be sure that everything you describe, everything that happens, everything that's narrated is something the point of view character can know. So in this case, our point of view character is Kim. So everything that we narrate and describe has to be something that Kim is aware of. So if she's in a coffee shop and she's aware of the waitress having a name tag on her shirt because she saw it, then you can share that what the waitress's name is. But you want to make sure the reader knows how the main character knew her name. If all of a sudden she goes into a coffee shop, says the character's name, and they don't seem to know each other based on context, you have to explain how she knew her name. So she saw her name tag. It's just really simple, one sentence, and she noticed the name. She noticed her name on the name tag, Mary, or something like that, and that's all you have to do. So it's important, and it's something that the two main mistakes that people make when writing in third person, and I guess they even make the mistake in first person, but mainly happens in third person, is sharing information that the main character cannot know, or intruding your personal impression. So let me give an example. Let's say you're writing, and from Kim's point of view, and another character walks on screen, and Kim doesn't know this person. very well at all. And you slip up, and when you're describing this character, you mention in narration something about his stepdad beating him or something like that to add to his personality or character. Well, Kim doesn't know that, and Kim's the point of view character, so you cannot share the information because Kim doesn't know that about him. So if you want to share information, you have to make sure Kim knows it. You have to let us know that she knows or how she knows it. So, you have to say something like, Kim thought about blah blah blah, or Kim knew that his father beat him or something like that. You have to be careful about that. It's easy to make the mistake because you, the author, know everything about everyone because you're making them up and you're writing everything. But the point of view character doesn't. So you have to make sure that you stay in character when writing, that you don't make that mistake. So those are the two main things to focus on when you're writing, that you don't make those mistakes. So again, limited third person is just sticking to one point of view and to write everything from that point of view. And also you want to be careful when you're zooming in and out. What I mean by zooming in and out is, let's say the scene starts off with two characters having dialogue, and then you kind of zoom out a little bit and start describing the surroundings. That when you do that, you transition smoothly, that you don't start off with dialogue and then right after the dialogue, without any transition, you jump way out and start describing the I don't know, a roller coaster zooming by or something like that without transitioning. Like 1 minute we didn't know anything about the surroundings or settings, we just had a dialogue between two people. The next thing you know, there's a roller coaster. That's a huge jump to make, so you might want to zoom out slowly. So imagine you have a camera, and if this was a movie, what just happened was cameras on two people talking and then cameras on roller coaster. That's jarring even for a movie. You'd be like, well, what just happened? But if the camera slowly zooms out and now you see the two people talking, and then you see their whole bodies, and then you see them standing next to a cotton candy stand or something, and then you start seeing people walking by, and then the camera pans over to the roller coaster. That was a nice smooth transition. You had time to take in the world and realize that you're in some sort of theme park. So when you're writing, you want to do the same thing. You either want to start from far away, describe the roller coaster, describe the smell of cotton candy, the main details to paint that you're at some sort of theme park, and then start zooming in. Well, that is zooming in, and so you kind of paint the setting a little bit and then go into the dialogue. If you start out with the dialogue and you want to paint the setting after the dialogue, just make sure you zoom out slowly. So you describe right after they're talking, you describe the surrounding, like right next to them, the sounds from the cotton candy machine. Hey, you want some cotton candy? And then the smell of cotton candy, and one of the characters liked it or didn't like it or whatever. And then people walked by, and the sound of people in the roller coaster, and and something like that. It's usually easier though to describe the setting first, zoom in, than it is to zoom out. So I would zoom in most of the time. So for example, let's say you're writing when there's three characters on screen, and one of them is like this woman that does magic. Some people might call her a witch. Let's say none of the characters, including yourself, think she's an evil witch, but you describe her in a paragraph as an evil witch. That would be you intruding, the author intruding on the story. Let's say the three characters are Kim, Jack, and Susan the witch. Jack doesn't think she's an evil witch, Susan doesn't think she's an evil witch, and the evil witch doesn't think she's an evil witch. Then you can't say she's an evil witch, because what's going to happen is the reader's going to think the main character, that is whoever the point of view character is, let's say the point of view character in this case is Jack, and everything you're sharing is from his point of view, and suddenly they say she's an evil witch, and then as context plays out, Jack doesn't think that at all. It's confusing. So you want to make sure you don't do that. If you do say she's an evil witch, you want to make sure the context shows that Jack thinks or whoever the point of view character is, thinks she's an evil witch. Right, next we'll go into a little bit about the multiple and omniscient, I guess. I've already kind of went into it, but